Hey there, peeps. Day 3 of our Fresh Breath of Air challenge. So happy to have everybody with us. Hope you've been enjoying the challenge so far. Just short little daily videos to remind you about the lives that we are doing starting the month of January as we do our or rewriting the script for this entire year for 2026. And I wanted us to start with a fresh, meaning a different or a new breath, because hey, isn't that important? Of air, right? And so I'm going to dig right in. And today we're talking about the history of breathwork. And, what I thought was funny is I did a lot of research and no one else started with the Bible and with Genesis, where it says God breathed life into man and he became a living being. I think that was actually the beginning of breath work. So I threw that in there. But historically, it has been logged that for about 4,000 years across multiple cultures, breath was seen as a life force and a spiritual bridge. Interesting, right? It brought forth so many interesting practices as people realized that it's not just to be enough to be alive, but to actually use your breath as a tool. And so there's a lot of different breathing types. You may have heard of prana or chai or kai or pneuma, I think is how they pronounce that. And it's all of them stemmed from root words of breath and spirit. Okay, so again, referencing back up to God breathing light into us, right? Or breathing life into us. And then we have different types of yogic practices. You may have heard of pranayama, or the Buddhists have a mindfulness practice, or the Taoists have the chi cultivation. These are all practices that have basically withstood time as people have experimented and gotten results from breath work. And so, interestingly enough, the Christian traditions have something from ancient years called, and I'm going to mess this up, Heshism. And then there's the somatic trance or martial arts breath. And these were all different forms of breath work. And, some were life living, some were, connecting with the divine, the shamanic, connecting with the spiritual. And then with the martial arts, there was used in fighting. So all areas of life, not just one area. And then, of course, breath has just, if we wanted to sum it all up, we could say it's linked to the mind, the body, healing, and divine connection. Why am I talking about breathing? If you haven't been catching up, you're probably like, what is Coach Tina doing? Well, I am getting certified in the end of this month as a breathwork practitioner under John Creamy, and he is a speaker that was at a Tony Robbins Life Mastery in April of 2025, and I had a life-changing experience through his work. And because it was so impactful, I have just felt the desire to add that to my list of tools. And I can't wait to share with everybody how much it has impacted me, but also to have you experience it and know that it's important for you to use what you have. And breath is free and available to everyone, right? So, of course, there's all the ancient history that I just described, but the recent breathwork practices started in like the 60s and 70s with a consciousness movement. There was Leonard Orr, who created the rebirthing breath work, which kind of really got people thinking about what is possible. Now, it's probably very similar to the things that were going on in the ancient world, but maybe it wasn't documented as well, right? And so now we have resources, and technology has caught up, and we're able to produce and share the results of what's been going on. And from rebirthing, the Stanislav Grof developed what's known as holotropic breath work. Now, I am doing a type of holotropic, meaning that it's breath that is in and out through the mouth. But holotropic breath work is like 3 hour sessions, and it takes something like 3 months of training. It's pretty extensive, and the results aren't that much more impressive than what I am going to be working with. And John Paul has helped thousands and thousands of people, so he has a pretty good track record, and many, many testimonials saying about how life-changing his work is. But from that, people like William Reich started connecting breath to emotional release. Books like Body Keeps the Score. There's a whole bunch of other breathwork type books, but people are recognizing that we are emotional beings, and when we store up too much, when we hold back, when we don't tell people what we really think or what we're really experiencing, we store it in our bodies. And breath is a mechanism that allows us to release those emotions. And when we don't have to carry around all of that inner baggage, we start to recognize that we have a deeper ability to do the things that we really want to be doing. So other people you may have known are shown there. Biyuko, Wim Hof. Tony's really big on Wim Hof breathing. He is most known for holding your breath for extremely long periods of time and being in like really, really cold water. So he holds his breath while he's swimming in those conditions. And so his whole practice is that through breath and holding of the breath, you are able to change your physiology, improve sickness, reset the system. And then Patrick McCone has also got studies of these breathing practices that are shaping these functional methods. Now, breath work is widely accepted, let's call it. It's being brought into therapy, in trauma healing, in general performance, like athletes, and in wellness. Like people are recognizing there are breath patterns to help with addiction. There are breath patterns to help with like food cravings. So it's definitely something interesting to dig into. And that's about as deep as we're getting on history. So hopefully you haven't gotten so bored you've moved away. But what's happening next is we're going to do some simple breathing techniques. So we are still doing deep breathing. This is not the everyday breathing that you just do naturally without thinking about it. This is intentional breathing. And it's deep because you are trying to take the biggest breaths possible, right? This particular practice is what's known as a box breathing pattern, hence the box. The box has 4 sides, right? And this breathing pattern has 4 sides as well. And what you're going to do is visualize the box. And I imagined kind of tracing my finger from one corner to the other, and then from that next corner to the other, down to the next corner, and then across the bottom. And that's how I kind of visualize each of these steps. It's super simple. We're going to hold for 4 seconds aside. We're going to inhale through the nose and exhale slowly through the nose for the 4 seconds. So again, if you're counting instead of looking at a watch, you can do 1 Mississippi. That gives you the pause for about a second. 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. That's going to be our count. And I won't say the word Mississippi, I think it, but I will do the 1, 2, 3, 4 for us and do a couple of rounds, okay? So we're going to start now. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold that breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale slowly through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then hold again for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We would do that cycle 10 times. It's going to be about a minute. And then we're going to do 10 cycles. And that's going to be a complete breathwork session. Now, some people don't have 10 minutes in their life. Shame on you. You should have 10 minutes in your life. If you're pressed for time, you can just do this in 1-minute cycles. It's most beneficial if you do it in a 10-minute time period all at once. But if you can't, you can't. And it's better than not doing it at all. So one of the things I love about box breathing is, I don't want to say it's complicated because it's really not that complicated. But because it has steps and the 4 concepts, and you have to think about them a little bit. Where am I? What part am I on? It clears the rest of the stuff out of your mind so that you're not so focused on it and held back or thinking about the technique, but you also aren't thinking all the monkey mind stuff. So some stuff will still come up, but I always take that as like what does come through is the really important stuff. So keep a notebook handy, and which leads us perfectly into the next section. And that is, don't forget, you're testing it, right? What does this breathing do for you? We've now practiced 3 different types. And I want you to measure on a sliding scale before you even start. Ask yourself maybe your level of stress on a scale from 0 to 10, with 10 being I am super stressed out and 0 being I'm not. Then where are you on the spectrum before you start? After you're done, ask yourself the same question and just get an idea of, is your stress going down when you breathe? And which style were you using so you know which one is most beneficial to you? Try this out as often as you can and journal your results. It goes by so quick, and you're going to have some major epiphanies, but you have to keep a notebook by you, because what I have found is if I think I'm going to do it later, I don't. And then I miss out on all of those insights and important things that are coming through when I'm in this altered state with a lot of oxygen in my brain. And that, my friends, is the state we want to be in. We want to be reaching the point where this breath work is taking us to a new level, where our mind is clear, where our spirit is on fire, where we're full of intentional living for our life. So don't forget, these are daily through the 10th, which is Saturday. I'm doing them at 11:10 a.m. This is just a 10 to 15 minute commitment on the computer. You can do it from your phone as well. And when you comment on each of the breathwork videos, then you are getting access to the online breath class that I will be doing over the weekend. And once I get a handle for how many of you are going to be attending, then we will determine when we're going to do it. So don't forget, if you are interested in the VIP portion of this challenge, you still have 1 day to purchase. And this will help you to dig deeper on the topics that are keeping you stuck. Those deeper recordings are happening with active Zoom meetings at 3 p.m. through the 10th. So I don't want you to miss out. I want you to be there so we can work through what's holding you back, what's keeping you stuck, what's not working the way that you would like it to. So my friends, thank you for your time. I hope that you've appreciated the videos, and I'm looking forward to talking with you and taking you through the breathwork workshop at the end of this series. You rock!